All right, looks like we are cooking here. It's October 3rd, and as my email said, we have Black Friday rapidly approaching. So, anyway, wanted to start off with a little share here. Unless anybody's got something, you got anything you want me to address right out of the gate? Anybody? All right. So, let me go over and show you my newest little invention. I find my share button. They keep hiding things on me in Zoom. Okay. All right, here we go. The newest quantum tool is called the Kitchen Wizard. And what you do, you put in what type of meal you want, if you want it basic or fancy, and what you've got to work with. And look at this thing. I put in steak, shrimp, milk, cheese, sourdough, cream of mushroom soup, broccoli, and onions. And it made me a gourmet recipe out of that. And all the steps, how to prepare it, how to garnish it, and then gourmet tips to spice it up. Like if you've got this stuff, or you might want to get this stuff. So anyway, I made that for Daryl. Daryl is he has a food delivery service. He delivers high quality meats and stuff to people, door to door service. So he said, "Hey, can you make me a tool that will make a gourmet meal out of anything in anybody's kitchen?" And so I said, "Sure, I can." So anyway, there it is. That's the, and if you look at the suite now, we've got a card whisperer, we've got a Groupon finder, we've got a press release builder. So a lot of this is new stuff. We've even got a listing pro for anybody that's a realtor. This will create really, really cool listings for you, like a listing for the house. So if you haven't tried that, you should try it, because I know Linda tried it and she got a phenomenal listing out of it. And she said when she went to the open house, there was like 30 people waiting to get in. Never seen anything like it before. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, lots of new tools. This one, somebody asked me about this. I put a Build a Becky tool in here. This went in just this last week as well. And what the Build a Becky tool does, it creates the personality for a bot. If you're going to put a chat bot on your site, the deal is if you put a chat bot on there and the chat bot just doesn't have any personality, it's going to come off as such. It's going to come off just very, very robotic. So the deal with the Build a Becky, this isn't the Build a Becky software. This is for you to actually create the personality for your Build a Becky. And it's called Build a Becky, but you can name your bot whatever you want. I just named mine Becky. So if you want to create like a personality, a persona, a professional, that's how you would build their personality to it. So that's a cool tool. The Name It tool, this is like if you're creating products or even unique mechanisms, that will help you put a really cool name to it. Brand Blurb creates, like, if you've got a website and you need a description for it, it will create a brand blurb for you. It's almost like an elevator speech, but it's for you to drop onto your website to tell your visitors what the site is all about. So these tools are just coming out at a really fast clip here. It's almost like as soon as somebody tells me what they want, I've got it in there for them. Like Daryl just dropped this one this morning for me about the Kitchen Wizard, and now there it is. So that is a really cool thing. Also, when you use these tools, they will save your last project. Like here's the one that I showed you about. I chose dinner for the meal, fancy, and then what I had on hand. And then there is the recipe. There's the gourmet recipe. So pretty cool. I also had it do upgrades here, like to recommend stuff that maybe you didn't put in. Like, yeah, I don't expect you to put in everything you've got in your kitchen, but just put in the basics, and then it will make recommendations for other stuff if you've got that on hand to enhance it, upgrade it. So pretty cool stuff. So there's a ton of tools in here now. I think there's over 40 of them at this point. And I still haven't really got to like the big winners. And what I'm talking about is the one that will write your whole presentation for you, the one that'll write your whole webinar for you. I've been working on those. They're very detailed, very in-depth prompts. Those prompts will probably wind up being, 30, 40 pages long. So it's taken me a little while. The little ones, I can kick these out in no time flat. But the big ones like that are really intense and complicated, they take me a while to get them right. So anyway, if there's some simple tool you want, like this is the Groupon Finder. One thing I found about this, you put in the location, the city, and then the search radius. It doesn't seem to matter how big the search radius is. It's only going to give you about 4 or 5 Groupon deals. And the best I can tell, because I've twisted the prompt 10 ways to Sunday to try and get it to do more, but I think it's a limitation on Groupon for how many times you can ping it. So if you get into that and you want more than the 3 or 4 or 5 that it kicks out, just try running it again, or run a different city, put a different zip code in, whatever, and you probably would get more. All right. Tomko, you have your hand up there. Go ahead and unmute.
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm awesome.
How's life treating you? Everything's great. Thank you for all that you're doing, by the way.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. It's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, this is well, we're using, if that means anything. We're using. I had a question to see if you could help us out with the video creator one. The what's we call it? The Video Genesis.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we're making a bunch of videos, good stuff. So one of the things we run to, so on for example, for this one client, we have a closing page that their URL is a little bit long. Is
Okay.
there a way to center, so you can see a little margin on one? I can show you if you want. There's a little margin on the set. Great videos, but
Yeah.
is there a way to decrease the size of the font so it fits on the page? We're just having a hard, because we want every one of the, we're going to do a bunch of videos, and every video is going to say,
Yeah,
don't forget
yeah,
to visit yada 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 yada. But
yeah.
it's not fitting on the page, and it's driving us a little bananas. And I don't even know what I'm doing, but my guy does. He says, ask John if he can help us with this.
Got it. You can adjust the font, but I don't think we have the font size adjustable.
Size, okay,
Some of the fonts are like smaller and more compact, so that might fix it for you.
okay,
The other thing that I would probably recommend that you do, if you're creating a lot of videos, you want to create what is called an intro and an outro.
right.
Basically, it's a video trailer, and that video trailer can have your call to action, and you can customize it and make it really fancy. So that way, when your video ends, it goes right into that video trailer, and that will solve that problem for sure.
So they, okay, so we're playing with this in anticipation of today's call, but then how do we get the voice part to, so you have screens, like say we have 6 screens that the bot created, and
Uh-huh.
then the 7th screen is, as you say, our outro.
Yeah.
So what we did is we went into the video. I'm just going to go to one of those, and let's say, so you went to the last screen. Okay, add a screen, right? So we're at
Uh-huh.
scene 9, scene 10, whatever the heck it is. So we add a scene, but if I don't, where we're putting the go to legaldistribution.com is in the copy, that little box there, and that's where it shows up on the screen. But the voice animator matches that. So if we didn't put it in the screen, then how do we get the voice to talk about it?
Well,
Does that make sense?
on the intro and the outro, they really aren't meant to have a voice to them.
Okay.
They're just to lead in and lead out.
Okay.
So on your last page, you could say, "Hey, if you're ready to go, just click the link or go to the website on the screen and then have it transition into that outro, and then boom, there it is."
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So it
Got you.
doesn't, you don't I don't think I've ever seen an intro or an outro that was narrated.
Got you. But even
So
with that, we would say, so, okay, let's assume that's the case. So let's forget the outro. I see what you're saying. Just have an evergreen outro, like,
yeah,
with a picture of the store and a picture of John there with a fish in his hand, and okay, that's just a picture. But even the screen before, what we're having a problem is go to let the name of the company is legaldistribution.com. So even if it's the screen before, we can't fit that on there. So how would that work? You know what I'm trying to say?
well,
Uh,
the other thing that you can do, like if you've got a video editor, like I use Camtasia, and it's a rudimentary editor. It's
okay,
it's great for what I do, basic stuff, and I can do a lot of pretty cool stuff with it. But it'll allow you to put what's called a lower third on your videos,
okay,
and it's just kind of an overlay. And
okay,
you can lay over whatever you want. In fact, in the normal video with Quantum, you can have it not put the text in the video if you want to put your own text in there. And you can use those video overlays.
okay.
So
Then lastly, if we do have an outro, is there a way to at least have the music overlap into that last screen instead of just cuts off and dead? If I'm trying to say,
yeah.
so we have 10 screens. I hear what you just said. Forget about typing it in. Let's just let's just impose it on the final screen. Let's just impose. We could just. I hear what you're saying. Put the logo and put the www on that screen, make it fit. But then would that go to darkness, or can we have the music run into that last screen? You see
I
what I'm saying?
believe you can have the music run to the last screen if you just add another blank slide onto it.
I got you. Yeah, that would make sense.
So
Okay.
just put
Cool.
an image in there, knowing that it's going to just overwrite that image when you put your outro over the top of it.
Put it in. Okay, so we can't. So we had a scene because we put a custom picture in there. We pulled a
Yeah.
custom picture. So that last screen, we can put a custom picture, or are you saying we have to do it differently?
No, no, that's what I mean. I think you have to put something in there or it'll just skip it. So
Yes.
if you just put the image in there, knowing that you're creating that extra space that you're going to just lay your outro over the top of it in a layer in your video
Yeah.
editor.
Right. Because like on the last thing we're doing here is Atlantic City Company, and the last screen we just had an aerial shot of Atlantic City, and the guy said, "Go to blah blah, go to johnlimbacher.com." It was cool as, and then just son of a gun, it won't fit in the screen. The URL won't fit in the screen. It's right,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
it's just
A
so
little bit
close.
of video editing on the outside and you should be in good shape.
Got you. Okay.
But the other thing about this is if you usually in your outros, typically your outro will be it'll have some kind of a special effect to it.
Okay.
So a lot of times you won't want the music from the video running over the outro because of that. So
Okay.
keep that in mind as well. That might affect how you do your final editing, or if you even want to add more music to the end of the thing.
Well, I guess it was just, the 10 scenes, the guys talking, we're using some background music, and then all you go, all of a sudden, I guess we'll have to see what it looks like. Then it goes to the 11th screen and there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's no voice, there's no music, there's nothing. So hopefully by just adding a scene, the music will cover it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want the music to cover it, that's probably the best way to do it.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That should do it. But yeah, if you want to get like the video genesis, it'll produce a video just out of thin air. And from there, you can take that and you can do, any kind of customization you want. You can get really, really fancy. AI is
Oh,
not,
it does, but even on the come for everybody here, I mean the videos are cool. So you have three
yeah,
choices. You could just slap the URL in there. It does a decent job, or you could actually put some copy in there. But just overwhelmed, especially if you're looking to do a little volume. We're trying to build up someone's YouTube channel. Just it's more of a quantity than quality thing, I guess. Just to fill it. But the videos are magnificent. They're
yeah,
just
yeah,
we're blown away by them. They're magnificent. Quality, the voices, they're not robotic, the screens, the segues, the pictures. I
mhm.
sat back, my jaw dropped the first time. I said, really? And they did it in like 2, 3 minutes. We used to spend days on these things, days and days and days of renderings and this, that. So that way it's phenomenal. There's just a couple of tweaks here and there that we're trying to figure out, but we're all in.
Yeah, yeah. But for anything, whether it's video or images or text, keep in mind that AI isn't really meant to replace everything. The
Right.
AI is a helper. So, you know, plan on whatever you're doing with AI, plan on using like the last 10% to be your magic sauce.
No, I agree. You know what we did, John? I just to see, this was sort of like taking your 2-year-old and throwing him in the pool without swimming lessons. I just wanted to see what the what the capabilities were before we went the other way. Well,
Good.
let's put so much. I didn't want to go the other way and put so much human input and find out, oh my God, this stuff did it anyway. So we went the other way. Let's throw the kid in the pool, see if he can swim, and then we're building on that part of it, if that makes any sense. But I was taken back by even whatever it did. It was just because we've seen other AI video creation platforms, they sort of stunk.
Yeah,
Or suck. They were.
yeah.
Hey, Joe, will there be a point on these video? I noticed you probably could go about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Will there be a point you can go deep, longer on these things, do you think?
What you can do, you can just seam them together.
Team them together. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
just do like your first section and then your
right.
second section, and then just put them together in a video
Yeah, that
editor.
makes sense. No, this is exciting. You've got
Yeah.
so it's like a kid in Toys R Us. I don't know where to go though with all these. I'll probably never get any, I'll never make any money from any of this, but I'm have a heck of a lot of fun because there's a lot of good tools here. There is.
Well, I mean, it's been a lot of fun for me just to build the tools.
Yeah.
I have got it so dialed in now. I've got a running GPT going in Perplexity that's helping me design the tools. And I mean, I can whip them out in nothing flat at this point. Like the one that I had created this morning, the chef wizard, it literally I started doing that tool at 10:45, 15 minutes before this call, and it was up live to demo in the call. So
Wow.
it took me literally about 10 minutes to create the GPT for it, create the description, create the image icon, generate it, and put it up in the quantum tool set, all in under 15 minutes.
Wow.
So
It's pretty kitchen with. Yeah.
yeah, it's like I've got superpowers at this point.
Kitchen wizard. I could see you on an infomercial already with a chef's hat on. I'm the digital kitchen wizard. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, there is so much opportunity in any of these things. Like, keep in mind the tools that I'm making for you guys inside Quantum. Do you know what they are, really? The core, the base of it?
act.
Well, that's that's some of the tools are for ACT for sure, but I mean the tool itself. The tool itself is a GPT. It's a bot. Like, you could literally create these over in OpenAI. You could go into Chat GPT, into a paid account. You can do Explore GPTs, and there's a place in there where you can create your own GPTs. It's just a pain in the ass, and it's not real intuitive. But a GPT is the same bot that you're putting onto your website. It's just in Chat GPT. Yeah, you can create the bot over there, but you have to use it in Chat GPT. They don't allow you to like take it out of there without doing a whole bunch of programming and API calls to get it onto your website. That's where we've got the Build a Becky software that makes that just stupid simple to create a bot to put on your website to, to take care of customer service or answering questions or whatever you want to do.
You showed us when you first came out with Build a Beck. You showed us where to go do it yourself. The OpenAI.
Yeah,
It's just a
yeah,
pain. Quite frankly, I mean, it's doable. But you're just saying, yeah. It was a pain, and it didn't look
yeah,
anything like this. So I agree. It's
exactly. And with a GPT, like let's say you created a GPT over in Chat GPT, we'll use the Chef Wizard. for an example. In the Chef Wizard, you would have to go back and forth with it several times to get it to create that recipe for you. The way I did it was I created a GPT that already knew all the steps and prompts you right up front with what kind of meal do you want? Do you want it fancy, or basic? And what do you have on hand? So it's a one-shot deal. It's asking you everything it needs to do the job I've trained it for. Instead of bouncing back and forth for 15 minutes to get a basic recipe. It asks you the three things and boom, knocks it out. So these are just really their advanced GPTs that are promptless. You don't have to know how to prompt them. All you have to do is just fill in the blanks, and I've made them all that way. So they're
John,
really
how
they're
how
really
far
cool.
down the road before you get involved with, because I'm sure you're going to, with the actual voice, are you going to get involved in any of the voice stuff?
I haven't really even delved into that. I know some of my programmers, like there's a programming team that is building the framework. Like I'm not a programmer. You guys, anybody that knows me knows I'm not learning programming, right? I'm a point and click guy. So they're building like the frameworks and all that, but they've created it where I can just literally go into God mode and create these tools
Right.
in minutes. So I can ask them, like, what can we do? But so far, I think 11 Labs is probably, from all the people I've talked to that are using voice AI, they all lean to 11 Labs to be the
The
key.
voice. Yeah, I think the big, just like you've been saying all along, because there's a bunch of them trying, but
Yeah,
I think they're lazy. They're just horrible bots. I mean, I got in an argument one the other day and I said, I'm yelling at a robot here. It was horrible. They ask you a question, there's a delay, and they're selling these things. That's the part that blows my mind. These
yeah,
companies that just slap these things together. They're horrible. They'll ask you, hi, that you ask a question, and then you get in one of those conversations where you're stepping on each other. You know what I mean? In other words, you're saying something and I'm saying something that cuts off, and then it asks for a yes, and then I give it a yes, and it asks me the same question. And I'm just amazed how people come to market with these things, and they're horrible. I mean, not even, and I'm not even that overly critical of some of these things, but
well,
the voice stinks, the robot stinks, the prop stinks, and they're out selling this stuff, and people are buying it. It's crazy.
yeah,
Blows my
it's like I've said from the beginning, like with AI is a fantastic tool, but it's just like anything else in life. It's garbage in, garbage out. And
Yeah.
once you learn, like if you want to really do AI like the way I'm doing it, you need to learn to talk to the machine. If you don't know how to talk to the machine, you're always going to get mediocre results out of AI. That's
We were saying that the other day. I was talking to some local business owners. People think they could, they could just go, "Hi, write me an email and make me money."
yeah.
And, and then my prompts are 4 pages long. But if you put the time in, it'll blow your mind. If you put the time in and talk and ask me questions and ask me questions back, and then you build, like you said, what you're doing here, you put the time in it, it will blow your mind. It's not that magical.
Yeah.
You just that's not the it's interesting stuff. But thanks for what you're doing. It's great stuff.
Yeah, but what's really advanced me the fastest is working with one single string of AI and getting it on my thought process. Like the bot that I'm using, it's in Perplexity. I love Perplexity. But the bot in Perplexity that I'm using to create these GPTs for quantum, it's run now for probably 2 months. It's 2 months of me and it having an integral conversation about creating GPTs and creating them better. In fact, now it even knows when I ask it for a new GPT, it knows automatically that I'm going to ask it for a description. So it just gives it to me. It knows I'm going to want an image prompt. So it just gives it to me. It knows what I want. It knows how I'm thinking. It knows exactly the nuances and the intricacies that I'm going to demand of it. So for me to create these tools now, it is of literal breeze because I've got my assistant trained in the way I think. And that was no easy task, by the way. That took a lot of frustration, in the beginning of communicating with the GPT to get it on my plane. But now that it's on, I mean, it's really, really cool. But if you don't put in the time to really work with the AI and get it to understand what you want, you're going to get mediocre at best. But this is really cool. And in that said, I don't know if you guys are familiar with John Benson. John Benson is a multi-billion dollar copywriter. You don't hear too much about him. Like I've known him for a long time. I never really got to know him until I went to Florida to Todd Brown's event at his mastermind group. And I got to sit down and really talk to him and really get to know him. He is a brilliant guy. And he has been behind a lot of the major launches. He's been, he's that guy. He's the copywriter guy of the copywriters. And he's created an AI tool that takes all of the frameworks of some of the best copywriters around and has plugged them into a framework. So I'm really kind of second guessing whether I should even try and replicate that, because I don't think I'm going to be able to beat him. I know I'm not. It would be foolish for me to even think I could come close to being the quality copywriter that he is. And he's done the same thing that I've been doing in all my tools, but he's doing it in one tool, a very advanced copywriter to write scripts for webinars, sales funnels, email response campaigns, all of that stuff. So I'm gonna be playing around. I signed up for his affiliate program. I'll put the link if any of you guys want to check it out. I'll put the link in the chat here. Let me pull it up here. All right. So this is going out to everyone. So his program it's called Benson, BNSN, and you should really go listen to his sales video. His sales video talks a lot about direct response copywriting, and it verses it up against AI. And I can assure you what he's saying is right because I've run into it already. Like the copy that comes out of AI, it's it's a it's guessing what to say next. Whereas true, really good copywriting is not logical. It takes you on a journey that only a human would know. It's an illogical process. And the AI is trying to make everything logical. It's a logical guessing machine. It's guessing what you want to hear next. And it's doing it at lightning speed. It's amazing. And it's up on probably a level 7. So if you know how to talk to it, you can probably get a level 7 out of it. But what John has done, John Benson, he has created this Benson copywriting tool. And I believe he's taken it up to a level 9. I don't think he's hit a 10 yet, but I think he's at a level 9. And I think probably the best you would ever get is probably a 7. And this is a tool. It doesn't do all the cool stuff that Quantum does. He's not focused on any of that. He's focused on one thing and one thing only: writing billion-dollar sales copy. So if you're looking for the actual sales copy of how to sell your stuff, and I guarantee you it follows the ACT program almost to a T, but it does it at a level that's so far beyond my skill set in copywriting, it would make me look like a kindergartner.
So John, this for everything? Like just sales letters, sales like video scripts? Is it for everything? I mean, I'm looking at it now because it's not cheap, right? It's 500 plus another 600 a year times about 1100 a year, basically.
Yeah, it's 500 to get in, and he doesn't do any deals on it. He doesn't even give deals to his marketer buddies.
Okay,
Like the heavy hitters are paying the same amount we're paying.
got you,
So he's there is no deal on it.
got you.
It's 500 bucks to get in, and then it's basically 50 bucks a month to keep it. Uh,
Come on, John. A guy like you can knock this out in a couple hours. You could,
oh man, I haven't actually, I'll be totally honest, I haven't bought it yet. I
okay.
I haven't had the time to dedicate to it. I know if I buy it before I'm ready for it, it's just going to sit there and I'll probably never use it. But
Yeah.
I am very dedicated to using it because I want to use it for my affiliates for this Black Friday coming up. I just know, the last 2 weeks, there's been no way in hell I was going to get to it. This week, I've got the air show going. I've got Brady coming in town. He's actually just touched down. His flight just landed in Orange County a few minutes ago. So Barb's up picking him up right now. So he is on his way to Limbo Land. And I'm going to be working with him this next week. And then once he goes back, my schedule kind of lightens up, and that's where I'm going to take the dive. I'm going to dive into Benson. My first goal is to create copy for the affiliates. It's all about creating copy so the affiliates can sell the stuff and make money. I really want everyone this Black Friday to put money in their pocket. Even if you don't have anything, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you the copy. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So everybody, if you don't make money this Black Friday, it's because you didn't want to. That's all I can say. It's just because you didn't want to. Because I know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, there's no one in here that doesn't know other business owners that couldn't use quantum. Just that scenario doesn't exist. And if you know business owners that can use quantum and you use the tools I'm going to give you to introduce them to it, there's no way you're not going to make money. The only thing is just if you decide I don't want to. That's it. And if that's the thing, I'm okay with that. But I want to make sure you are too. So anyway, Black
Hey, John.
Friday is coming fast. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, I was just wanted two things. First of all, where do I see this? You're recording this. Where I'm on Quantum right now. Are you putting these videos? I know you've talked to it before, but where would I find these this video right now that we're on?
All the videos are in the archive. If you log into the ACT program
Okay.
and you go to the call page, there's a link to the archive there.
Okay.
All
Okay.
videos all the way back to the beginning are in there.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is an act, so I got to log into my act, and then it's
Yeah.
there. Okay, and the second question was in regards. So right now I'm having some issue. So I'm creating imagery for a website, and I'm having just a nasty time. And it should be easy, but it's complicated. My question is, I'm using Midjourney, and right now they're switching over from Midjourney that uses Discord, I believe, as a server, and it's
Yeah.
very convoluted. And now they've got alpha midjourney.com. So, but they're saying you got to create 1,000 images before you can have access. So my point is there, and I'm trying to create photorealistic, like I do pavers and concrete barbecues and things like that. So I'm trying to create imagery that is photorealistic, cinematic, like ultra photo. And I think Midjourney is the best for that. But is there a, is there, I mean, is it on the horizon, or could you do a quantum tool that would rival that as far as photorealistic, 35 millimeter, of golden hour, that kind of stuff?
It's already there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Where is that?
It's in Quantum. It's called the Act Imager.
Okay, I
We've
haven't
also
messed around with that yet.
we've also got the Ad Showstopper, Hero Image Pro, and Logo Beast. All four of those are as good as Midjourney.
Okay,
It's
so
all it's all about the prompts though, and you don't have to go through all the rigmarole that you go with Midjourney. That's a pain in the ass.
yeah, because my problem is creating imagery that looks like it's real, right? Like,
Yeah.
so not like cartoony and not, like, I mean, you can just tell an image that is not prompted well, or it just, when you get the result of, like, I'm prompting Hacienda luxury mansion in on the cliffs of Laguna Beach with low angle, and then I'll type in at golden hour, and then I'll put in paver driveway focus, and then it comes back, and I've just not gotten the results I've used. I couldn't figure the Midjourney thing out yet. I'm gonna
Yeah.
jump back in, but I used Copilot, and they were decent, but you could just see, hey, that's not real. So
Yeah.
you're saying that, what would be your recommendation?
Well, I'll
Act
tell you,
imagery at which one?
you could play around with all of them. They're all
Uh-huh.
spectacular. It has mostly to do with the prompt though. And just last week, I was helping somebody was putting the Becky bot onto a site that's for an environmental protection site, and they're trying to get the neighbors in a neighborhood aware of an environmental hazard that's happening in their community. So they wanted a bot that would answer all the questions about, what's going on and how to help fight it, how to get involved and push Congress to help them. And in the process, I thought, okay, well, we need somebody with a personality here. So that's where I created the Becky Bot personality builder in Quantum. And it's made to create the personality and then also create the image prompt to create the image of the person that it just built for you. And it created a woman that was like in her early 40s as the activist, and it had every detail about her for her personality. And the image prompt, we dropped the image prompt into Act Imager and created the image, and it was spectacular. I mean, there's no way in hell you could say this wasn't a real woman.
Wow.
And I mean, she was just magnificent. It
Yeah.
it was everything that she was supposed to look like too for an activist.
Yeah.
It was really just amazing.
So I'm on Act Imager right now under image idea. Is that where I prompt what I've been
Yes.
prompting into
Yep.
Copilot?
Yep. That's where you put in your prompt under the image idea.
That would be the ultra luxury mansion hacienda on the cliffs of Laguna Beach,
Yep.
and then 35 millimeter camera or lens,
Oh,
and golden hour. All that I'd put in that prompt.
yes.
And do I want to put in like photorealistic image, all that stuff?
You can put that in. If you need help with the prompt, then you can go to the one called Add Showstopper.
Uh-huh.
And there you put the image idea in, but there's a button for ultra photorealism.
Wow.
You can turn that on, and then you've got advanced settings. And you can put in the image type if you're looking for, a particular style. You can put the image style in there, the color scheme if you've got colors.
Yeah, like branding colors. That's
Mhm.
an ad showstopper. Is that
Yes. Add Showstopper puts
okay?
a lot more framework around you being able to customize it.
Uh,
And it's adding the prompts for you. Like if you
okay.
want photorealism, it's adding those prompts and wrapping that image for you.
So I would use ad showstopper, do the same prompting that I would do, and you think that would create a better result than the Act Imager?
It depends on your base prompt. If you've got your base prompt all figured out, Act Imager's fine.
Would you suggest going to ChatGPT and trying to come up with a prompt in there to input into
I
this?
I would actually go to Perplexity. I like Perplexity tenfold over Chat GPT
Really, for everything that you're doing.
for everything. Yeah, I've never seen anything that Perplexity wasn't 10 times better at.
Wow, interesting.
Because here's the thing, Chat
Hey,
GPT
Lou, I can't
is
really
a
talk too long,
generic
but I have a question
GPT.
for you because we're doing some big.
So
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
yeah, Chat GPT is a generic GPT.
Okay.
It's made to be used for generic stuff. Perplexity is more business oriented.
Hmm.
Perplexity is using, I think, 5 large language models to drive it, whereas ChatGPT is using one, its
And,
own.
and I'm curious because Midjourney, again, they're going to this alpha platform that you don't have to go to Discord anymore, and they came out with version 6, and now they're on version 6.1. And are these imagers like the ad showstopper? Are they connecting back to those? The versions that are like. I mean, I guess the question is this like up to date for the back end for the versions, or I mean, are you? I don't understand. I don't need to know, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, that's really not a question you should be concerned with.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, that's just wasting time trying to figure out, that's like saying, why is the sky blue?
Right. Yeah, no, I get it.
Matter. It
As
just
long as the inputs, the images are coming back, they're photorealistic based on my prompting. That's all I really care about. I just need these pictures to
yeah,
look like job site pictures that we did, right? That these customers did, because some of them don't have a portfolio to work with. It's a new company. So I'm
yeah,
like, hey, they're using stock images off the internet. Said, no, we can't do that. So I'm like, let me try to get some imagery that looks like portfolio gloss pictures of jobs that they could say that they either designed or they did until they can replace it with their own. But yeah, I just need them to look like absolutely like you cannot tell these are not pictures.
yeah.
And you're
That's
saying
all
ad
prompting.
showstopper. Go ahead.
That's all prompting, and where quantum is going to help you is the prompting that I've already wrapped around it for you.
Right, right.
So you're going to add whatever you're going to add on top of that. But I gotta tell you, I've been using Perplexity to help me create my prompts for images as well
Got
as
it.
prompts for everything else. And it's been really, really good.
I've never gone to Perplexity, so I'll go over there and mess around with it.
Yeah. And you
And
don't need the paid account either. I'm using the free account on Perplexity.
awesome.
I've never paid for it. I'm just using the free
Wow.
version
All right.
and it's spectacular.
So go to Perplexity, figure out my prompting, and then copy and paste that prompt into in the add showstopper image idea field. Paste that in that prompt that I come up with from Perplexity.
Yeah, yeah. And there's another one Gregory just pointed out. I've seen this one. It's called Flux. And Flux, I have not used it myself, but I've watched some YouTube videos on it recently. It really looks amazing. And
Mhm.
Flux, it's kind of like what I've done with the Act Imager and the Showstopper and all that. It's wrapping your prompts. It's really helping you to get phenomenal images without really knowing how to do intricate prompts. And the other thing about it, if you try and do a prompt in Midjourney that is controversial at all, it's going to stop you. It won't allow anything controversial. Whereas in Flux, there's a mode. I forget what the mode is called. Um, I think it's explicit. I think there's a button that is called allow explicit. And if you turn that button on, it's like, holy shit, all all rules are ignored in
Wow.
AI. It will basically make you any image you want. So
Okay.
careful what you wish for.
All right. Good, good. All right. Well, thank you for those answers. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
John, could I get some clarification when you're talking about this Black Friday? Are you talking about a Black Friday thing where we're selling quantum as an affiliate for you? Is that what you're talking about?
Only if you don't have anything yourself. Like I'm trying to make it to where everybody makes money. If you've got your own product, forget quantum. sell your own product. But if you don't, I'm going to give you something that I guarantee will work. But I don't say that to like, hey, push my stuff and forget your stuff. Not at all. If you've got something, let's get it up and running so you can take advantage of it this Black Friday. But I know there's a few people that, maybe they don't have their own product, or maybe they're not ready, or whatever. I don't want anybody to miss out this year.
And what would be the ABCs of what you would, are you talking about creating, like, I, where would you entice where would you find the clients, or how do you acquire those people
Sure,
to
like
sell?
I addressed that last week as well. Somebody said, well, I don't have a list. And I'm like, well, bullshit. Everybody's got a list. If you've got a phone, you've got a list. You have a contact list.
Okay.
And lists are about segmentation. You don't want to send out an offer to everybody on your list. That'll get you, hated. You don't want to be hated.
Right.
You want to be loved. So only send an offer to somebody that could use it. Be helpful, not disruptive. So, we all have lists, we all know people. Even if you don't have a phone and you just know people, you can just go talk to them and say, hey, I came across this really cool thing that will help your business. If you're not using AI, or if AI is still a mystery to you, there's a tool set for under $50 that will handle all that and get you up to speed. It'll put you light years ahead of your competitors right out of the gate, for $50 a month. No long-term commitment. You can try it. If you don't like it, just cancel it out. It's a pretty much no-brainer, easy sale. Everybody can afford $50. If you're in business and you can't afford $50, you're not in business. You need to start filling out applications. And that's a hard, cold, harsh reality. But sorry, it's reality, So
Have
so
you considered, they're jumping over to instead of imagery, photorealistic imagery, there are also these now platforms
Gerald,
coming up with video
fuck up.
creation for, is there a tool in the quantum for creating videos from prompting?
yeah, there's the oh, what is it? Lost my train of thought there. It's the Video Genesis tool.
Okay, I'll check that out.
So, yeah, all right. Delilah, you got your hand up there?
Yes. Okay. So I have a client, it's a coaching client, and there's a program that he's using called Infogram. He's a graphic designer, works for a medical company, and he was called in to meet with the boss recently, and unfortunately he was like underperforming, and so they were having a one-on-one, kind of stressful conversation, and he said, he'll do his best, he's going to get better at it, because they said they had another employee that was using it much more proficiently.
Yeah.
And, maybe they could refer him to some resources that could help him. But I was just thinking perhaps there's some kind of AI tool that could help him make his graphic images look spectacular, because I think that is one of those performance reviews he's gotten that, he's in danger and he's a single dad and, all that stuff. So we're trying to figure out how he can basically keep his job and also improve what he's doing so the company's happy with him.
I love that you brought that to my attention, because that is a whole new avatar I didn't even think about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always geared toward thinking for business owners, but what you just brought to light was there are people in jobs that are going to lose their jobs if they don't have skill sets. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, what if you lose $100,000 job, $100,000 a year job because you didn't know AI?
So true.
Would it be worth $50 a month for that guy to have a secret weapon in his back pocket that makes him look like a superhero inside that company?
Mm-hmm.
That is a perfect avatar for this. Employees that need to have a secret weapon. Quantum is the secret weapon for them.
So he could use quantum then, because I mentioned quantum
Oh,
to him.
yeah.
He seemed a bit resistant, but I think what I need to do is maybe I can walk him through it so he can see and actually experience like how it could work. He
Oh,
says that they're very particular though. So the company insists that he uses that program I mentioned, infogram or something. And that other employees can also look at the work. But what if he could do something through Quantum where he then sends the URL to Infogram?
yeah, he could use Quantum to create base images to put into that program to work from.
Mhm.
Or if you, here's another thing. I could build a tool inside Quantum to create the prompts for that program that he's using to make him look good.
You could do what? Say that again.
I could create a tool just for him inside of Quantum that would create the prompts for him to use with the program that he has to use to make him look good.
Holy cannoli, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that stuff like a snap right now.
Wow.
In 10 minutes, I could have that tool built for him.
Well, let me know later what kind of information you need.
Yeah, it's basically it's an image prompt that he's putting in that he doesn't have the skill set to write himself.
Yes.
So I could make a tool that would write those image prompts for him.
Oh my
And then
God.
he just copies, pastes, and boom, now the image is made inside of his tool using the prompt that will make a spectacular image.
Holy cow. That would be a total game changer.
Yeah,
Yeah, John, I think you're gonna have to make one because there's nothing inside the queue that has that. And infograms, they are great for, corporate setting,
yeah,
just to put so people can actually see their stuff. It's just like having what they call almost like a funnel, but
mhm.
a visual funnel.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
all you have to do is just tell me what you need and the parameters around it, and I can make the tool no
Yeah,
problem.
I know what she was the speaking about. I hope I didn't pronounce your name. But if you go to Infogram, you'll see exactly what she's talking about. I'm familiar with it. It's one of the things that after the other coupons, I wanted her to actually to build one.
Yeah.
And Delilah, I think John's gonna blow your mind out. Your friend's gonna be happy. He's gonna save his job because infogram is good. It's very good, but you have to take time to learn it. And John can cut this thing off by 10x or more.
Oh my gosh, that would be so amazing.
Yeah, and then think about this. Every person that you help do this, you're going to be adding 25 bucks a month to your income. So if you can help 100 people, that's an extra 2,500 bucks a month. That's pretty cool. So it's good stuff.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, cool.
It's great stuff, John. Not good stuff.
I actually love it. Like I haven't had this much fun doing what I do in well over a decade, probably 2 decades. Seriously, this goes back to like the beginning when it was all fresh and new for me coming into the internet space, and it was just like it was like walking into Disneyland. Every day I'd get up and it was just like a trip to Disneyland. And that's where kind of the way I feel right now. It's just this is so cool. There's so much opportunity. It's just raining.
John, can I jump in here?
Yeah, go ahead. You're next up.
Thanks, John. I'm one of the things that I've been wrestling with here. It's literally been a year now, but I really don't like selling what everybody else is selling unless you're selling something that nobody else has. You're just a commodity. And as I've been working, starting with when you finally did it last Thanksgiving with Acquisition Air, I tried building something back in 2010, just after you started really getting Rainmaker going, where I thought maybe I could do a thing called customer calls now using SEO to direct calls and using the SEO as a lead gen and get but the technology was just not there. And over the last year, I've figured out how to pull together 10 different state-of-the-art softwares and 4 AI softwares. And they will, and violating your law, your number one thing is don't build anything unless you know, unless you can sell it first. Well, I didn't even know if it would be buildable. And it didn't
Sure.
turn out until 30 days ago, I found the last piece that would allow me to build this thing. But I know every piece will do exactly what I want it to do, but I don't know how to get 4 state-of-the-art AI platforms, including yours, to talk to one another so they'll all work together. That's way beyond my skill set, because I've got 3, got Chat GPT, a thing called Consolidata, Go High Level, Acquisition Air, and trying to get them all to talk to each other. And that means I've got to be at a programmer level of an expert programmer level in 4 different AI programs to figure out how to get the damn things to talk to each other.
Not true.
And how the hell do I do that, though? If it's not true, how the hell do I get them to talk? Because there's web hooks that have got to go back and forth and all this stuff. And none of these people know how to write instructions on how to actually do a thing. They all treat it as if it's, they all ask what's broken, how do you fix what's broken? And they're all about the how to do a thing, and there's no what you're supposed to do or why you're supposed to do it, which is without that what and why, the data doesn't do you any good on how to do a particular thing. And I don't know how to get past that. And I'm really screaming for help because I'm drowning here. I've got a product that I can roll out if I can figure out how to get the pieces to talk to each other.
Yeah. So you just need a programmer that is familiar at a basic, even at a basic level with API programming. But the thing is, this is the same problem as everywhere. It's communication. You've got to be able to firmly communicate very clearly what you want done, what needs to happen. Like, what's your core going to be? If it's go high level, then you're saying to the programmer, I need you to take this program and connect it into go high level using go high level's API. Very clean,
I paid 3 different people $500 each, and none of them were able to get it done.
Okay, well, that's just the wrong programmer. You might want to go to Go High Level and ask them, who do you recommend?
Oh, they don't know shit about their own program. They think they're a SaaS program. And as long as they don't understand that they're an educational institute to teach people how to use their program, and they don't know how to do that. I have personal conversations with people that have been in the support team for a year and a half with Go High Level, and they know that they don't know shit about the program or how to make it work.
Well, here's your core. Let me just tell you your core problem, Richard. You are constantly searching for why not. And you spend so much time and energy in the negative mode that nobody's going to want to do anything for you. I mean, honestly, this is harsh advice.
Give it to me, please. I don't understand what you're talking about.
You cannot spend all this time in the negative mode saying, I've done this and this didn't work and that, and nobody gives a shit about any of that. When you're communicating to somebody, you just need to be very clear and ask them, do you know how to do this? And if they do, then you just say, if you can do what you just said you can do, I'll give you X amount. Let's get it done.
I've literally got graphics I can show exactly step by step. I've got all the prompts written out. I have it all assembled, and here are all the pieces, and they still don't know how to put it together. And I don't have the programming knowledge on how to put it together. But I wouldn't have been able to do this.
Here you go. Here you go again. I'm telling you how to do this, and you're telling me why not? You're constantly spending your time in the negative. You need to throw that shit out the window. When somebody's talking to you in a positive way, you need to be moving positively, not trying to drag them under. It's like you're fighting a lifeguard. He's going to let you drown. I'm being really harsh in the most loving way I can with you right now.
Love you, John. Thank you.
I'm telling you your problem. And and I know it hurts and I know you don't want to hear it, but I don't want you to struggle. I want you to grab the life ring and go to safety desperately.
John, can I add up one more thing?
Yeah.
I think one other thing Richard may want to do is only focus on developer that deals with API only, at least for a starter.
Yeah. You need
Just
somebody
narrow it down and just follow exactly what John told you, Richard.
Yeah, it's you just got to stop spending time there. Like there's a saying of don't throw good money after bad. You've obviously had some bad experiences. They're in the past, leave them there. Move on. Don't drag those forward into every communication you have going forward because you're going to burn somebody up listening to all that. Nobody wants to hear it, especially someone new that you're working with, because you're just pre-framing them with you're used to failing and you're used to paying people to fail. That's not what you want them to hear. You want to come to them fresh with a fresh idea. Do you know how to do this? And say, if you can do this, I will pay you this amount and let's get it done.
Hey, John, would it be fair to say, and I say this with respect to any programmers on this call here today, that they are from a different planet in some
Oh,
ways? And I found one I'm working with. I mean, I remember our first one we did was a long time ago, and I'd sit there with a whiteboard and say, well, we need to go from A to B to C, and I'd come back 4 hours later, they're at Z and W. And the running joke with my partner, because he's a programmer, is we were working with car dealerships. And I'd say, Charles, I need a program from go to Mitsubishi to Kia. They're 10 feet away. And he'd come back days later. I'm saying, Charles, what are you doing? He says, well, I built a helipad and a port and a tunnel and I went all over. I said, how about we open the door and walk 2 feet down across the street and we're right at the next door, so you do have to translate to them and tell them what you want, because they'll go off on these tangents and drive yourself. I go through that now. Matter of fact, he spent 2 hours telling me about the video thing. I talked to you about 4.5 hours ago. I just fixed it myself, and I don't even know what the heck I'm doing. And here's a programmer, so the screen thing. But it is that they're just from they talk a little bit of a different language, and you just got to tell them what you need. I don't care how you're doing it. I just want it's like talking to a lawyer. Don't tell me what I can do. Just tell me how I can do what I want to do legally without getting in trouble. And if you leave it up to the lawyer, they'll drive you bananas. They'll just.
But no, that's what I was talking about. You need to clearly communicate what you need done. You need to clearly communicate, do you know how to do this? And if so, what's the cost and what's the time frame? And you just make it very clear in your contract that, okay, it's my understanding that in this time frame you can do this project, and if that's the case, you get this much. And you just say, if you can't, then you need to tell me as soon as possible so we can renegotiate the contract. Otherwise, if it gets to the end and you have not done it, then I'm moving on. I'm going to assume that you can't do it and this is null and void, and I'm going to move to the next guy, which I have already got lined up. I'm hoping for you to do your thing, and then, we're going to stay together forever, and the other guy doesn't get a shot. And you just need to be very, very clear when you're working with somebody what the rules of engagement are. And they, like I said, they don't care about your failures. They don't care about your past. It's just the here and now. They're trying to get your business, and don't drag them into a bucket of shit and throw it all over them, because they're going to smell bad even if they're good when you do that. So I would seriously try and give that a shot and see if that doesn't work better. And I know it's not just Richard. I kind of feel bad for making that example with Richard, but it needs to be done, because he's, it's not just you, Richard. This is a very common thing amongst entrepreneurs that it's holding them back. And I see it a lot. And I can't tell you how many conversations I get into, and I just like, oh my God, I just want to walk away. I don't want to hear this anymore. It's like, you try and drag me into a negative bucket, it's going to be really hard. I'm going to be very resistant to go there because I don't, I won't be around people like that. I mean,
How do you deal with what didn't work though? Do you just let them walk into the same buzzsaw that everybody else has walked into? You don't warn them that this is the problem that we keep running into consistently, and this is where the problem is, because this is where it's failed every time, and every time they get there, they fail the same way. I don't know how to say there's a problem in a pot. Hey, this sunshine, this is where the train wreck's going to happen. I mean, I'm puzzled. I am exactly the opposite of that. I wouldn't have been able to put together what I did if I didn't assume that everything will work and can work. And if I know where the failure point is, if I know where the nail is in the tire, pointing out the nail, that's where the nail is, doesn't seem like that's a bad thing.
and it can work and it will work. You just need to find the right person that knows how to do it. That's going to be in questions. Have them, it's their job to prove to you that they can do it, not your job to prove that they can't. Right? Put the burden of proof on them. Tell them what you want to do and say, how do you suppose we're going to do this? And I can tell within minutes if somebody knows what they're talking about. When I have them explain to me how they're going to accomplish something, I can tell like immediately if they're full of shit or not. And that, I got to tell you, that is the sole reason I have walked into boardrooms of massive companies being me and taking jobs away from big organizations. Because I can clearly explain that I know how to do it and I know what I'm going to do and how I'm going to solve their problem. So you just need to find that guy and just move through them at lightning speed. Don't be afraid to not get engaged with 10, 20, 30 people. If they're not the right person, don't waste a minute on them. If you ask them, how are you going to do this? If they say they can do it, ask them how. How do you plan on doing this? Have you done this before? What are the pitfalls you've found? What's going to stop you? What's going to not allow you to get this done? Ask them those questions. And if they know how to answer them, you might have your guy. If they dance around them and they're just full of crap, say, thank you. I've got to go now. Got another call. Move on to the next one.
Okay, what's the trick then of understanding if they know what they're talking about when you don't know what it is that you need to have done? You just know what I need to get done. I don't know the how to do it. And I don't know if they're blowing sunshine up my skirt or if they know what they're talking about. That's the problem.
They'll answer your questions directly. They'll answer your questions directly. Like, for instance, say, are you familiar with Go High Level? Yes, I am. Or he'll give you a story. If he starts into a story, run. Yes, I'm familiar with Go High Level. Have you done integrations in? Yes, I have. Well, what integrations have you done? What problems did you run into? If he can answer your questions directly, he knows what he's talking about. If he gives you stories and bullshit and doesn't want to answer your questions, and unless he's a professional politician, he's full of shit. So just don't be afraid to rough them up. Don't be afraid. I would be more afraid to get engaged with somebody that was going to drag me through the mud than me trying to protect myself and not get into a bad relationship. But seriously, you don't need to have high tech skill to figure out if somebody's bullshitting you or not. Just ask them the questions, be direct. And if he goes into stories, say, I'm not looking for stories. I'm short on time here. I got some specific questions for you. I need to get to specific answers right away. Just be totally upfront, totally honest, and to the point. And if they don't appreciate that, that's not who you want to work with.
I appreciate it, John, and I'm not taking any of this negatively. I'm really appreciative because I've been running at this wall a lot. And because I'm trying to do something that's never been done before, I don't know whether, first off, I don't know if it's even doable, but it looks like each piece can do what if each piece will do what they say it's going to do, then I don't know how to get them to talk together. And I've been trying to find somebody that can figure out how to get them to talk to each other. And I do have a little nagging question is if it breaks, how do I know what broke and how do I know how to ask somebody to fix it if I don't know what's done? So, I mean,
Well, once you find your guy, he's going to become family. He's going to be your go-to. But you got to find that guy.
okay, well, thanks. I'm not sure where to go look next. I've tried Indeed, I've tried Go High Level, and even Go High Level people say they don't know how to run Go High Level, which is kind of a problem.
Well, honestly, that was kind of my idea about them to begin with, which is why I haven't touched them with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, it's just that Carter doesn't have any AI integration, and that's got to be a key part of what's going on.
Kartra is not appealing to the shiny object syndrome that is the internet marketing space, and Go High Level is. They're putting all the bells and whistles in that attract the shiny object syndrome of internet marketers, and they've done a really good job at that. But Kartra is more focused on core business and not all the fancy bells and whistles. Like if you look at all the fancy crap that is being added into Go High Level, it's to appeal to the agency owner that wants to sell to low-level businesses that is going to fail. Anybody that is supporting local businesses in these services, that is the toughest market there ever was. And that's where their appeal lives. So
yeah, I agree completely, and that's why I'm only trying to use the simplest, most basic thing. But a chat bot, you can't do it. I don't know how you get a Kartra to do anything where if it won't connect with an AI, I don't know how to use it. And because the whole point is that the AI is running everything in the background. I figured out how to run all of it in the background, found all the parts and pieces, and I would have used Kartra, but I don't know how to. There's no AI connectivity in there unless I don't, maybe if you know enough about Kartra to get it to work with AI, I'll hire you.
I'm happy to have a conversation with you about like trying to get to the bottom of what exactly it is you're trying to accomplish. And I'll ask you as though I'm trying to hire someone. I'll ask you, and if you can answer the questions succinctly, I'll probably be able to tell you how to do it. If you can't, then it comes down to the problem of you haven't quite figured out really what you need yet. And
that's the point. Is I do have all that information. It's just I haven't. I'll finish. I've got all the graphics drawn and it shows exactly what connects to where and what has to happen and all that stuff. So yeah, okay. I'll schedule.
We'll set up a time and we'll go through it and I'll see if I can figure out, what exactly you're trying to do and simplify it for you.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you, John.
Awesome. Sounds like a winner. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else got anything you want me to?
I have. No, I'm working on my ideas for my Black Friday this year because of the fact that I've said I'm taking a step back in coaching. I'm taking all these programs that I've done or written the outlines from over the years and doing hey, I'm giving away the farm sale. So I'm creating a lot of it because a lot of it I don't have the content created. Is there an AI tool built yet where I can put in the stuff I want on the slides and I can have an AI voice or AI video? Like I tried it with Video Genesis last night. It just didn't come out right with doing a section of the content for me.
Probably the way I would do that, it's going to take multiple tools.
Yeah.
I would go to Perplexity, create the script. Once the script was done, I would tell Perplexity to, can you give this to me in a PowerPoint presentation where you name off the slides, give me the slide title and the brief description of each slide for the presentation. Take that output, put that into Gamma, and let Gamma create the visual presentation for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then go back to Quantum. And you might have to do this in multiple stages because Quantum's not going to make you an hour-long video.
Yeah, yeah.
That you could put it into segments, and you could make, you know, a couple minute at a time segments, and then you could seam those together. But basically, you're giving it the script that Perplexity gave you for the voice.
Yeah.
Quantum's putting the voice in off of the text, and then you're popping the images in that were made by Gamma. So
Okay.
you can mend all three of those together.
I was curious. I think so. That puts a puzzle together. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I haven't done that myself yet, but I've told a lot of people to do it. I'm waiting for somebody to come back and say, yeah, it worked great, because I think it's going to.
Yeah. The video Genesis, what's the longest that will create a video?
I don't really know offhand. I know you can go in and you can add slides. I don't know if there's a limit.
A minute and 40 seconds looks like, John, right around
Okay,
minute.
so like,
30
yeah,
minutes.
most of my sessions are like 7 minutes. It's like, yeah, that's gonna be kind of tough.
Well, just make them, you know, a minute and a half at a time,
Yeah, okay. Good ideas, thanks.
because they're all, you know, they're all based on slides. If you've got a slide up for more than a minute and a half, you're probably overdoing it.
Oh, and we're taking your advice, John, just to throw that in, if this out of any help, as we, a half hour ago when you made a suggestion, so we're gonna start gluing these together. Well, number one, do a minute, number two, and just have them blend them together, glue them together. We're gonna give, I'll let you know what they look like.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, I look at that and go, man, can I create all that? Because I've had these outlines and a lot of it for other coaches who were going to buy it from me over the years and didn't.
Well,
And
Gamma
just like,
is
I'm just gonna,
spectacular. Gamma is spectacular creating the visuals.
and I got the idea from go to frankkern.com. I got the idea from him, like, I mean, well, I don't really sell anything anymore. I'm giving it away. I'm like, boy, that would be a smart thing to do, considering I really don't sell these things anymore. Why don't I give it away? And, I mean, 2 payments of $47 or something. I don't know. I'll come up with some price.
That's awesome. All right. Well, good luck on that. I hope you kill it on Black Friday. All right, Gregory.
Sure. A little switching gears on the AI zip code marketing keywords. I have a client who's highly interested, but the question was, can we input Chinese characters as the in the keywords section?
Yes.
Oh, Chinese characters like
Yeah.
Mandarin and Cantonese?
You'll also notice with Quantum, we just put in multiple languages. So if you go down to the bottom of Quantum, you can actually change the language. I think there's probably about 15 different languages. It doesn't change the name of the tools, but it will change the descriptions. So if somebody's using it, they'll be able to read the descriptions in their language.
Super. Okay, I'll be exploring that and then get back to that. He's a high level Chinese attorney in my area. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right. Anybody else? Somebody else had a hand up there a minute ago. Oh, Delilah, go ahead.
Okay, I figured since you're coaching people on, their coaching businesses,
Hopefully I'm not roughing anybody up too bad today.
well, I'm in a peculiar situation, and I got myself into it, I admit. There's good and not so good situation, but I need to write an email that I've been dreading today. And so I just wanted to get your feedback and input on this. Maybe it would help inform me, or maybe I need to use AI to help me with this. But basically, I was in a situation where I'm part of a church prayer group. A mother was very concerned about her daughter. She's trying out for the military. It's really important to her. Like, it's her dream, all the stuff. and there were just some obstacles that were like mindset and physical related. And I tried to throw out some suggestions, and then eventually I realized, maybe I could help her with the NLP skills that I have, the coaching that I do. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll just gift them one session. And, I said up front, if I gift the session, if she needs additional sessions later, I'll need to charge her. And so I gave her the session. She did really well. She's actually improved significantly. Her mom has noticed her behavior. Everything is changing. She's even improving her scores on her tests for the military. But then I probably jumped the gun and started giving too many discounts, as in like I give 50% off my rate and all that. And now sometimes I have to meet her at the gym, and she's asking for more discounts, and I don't really have a lot of time right now either, like to run around town, or go over the hill to the gym, and I actually enjoy it. So don't get me wrong. It's just that I also really want to build my online business, which I'm working with you, John, and I need all hands on deck, as much time to get this ready for Black Friday. And so I just don't know how to articulate that I've been giving like a 50% discount already. How much more discount do they need? And I can't keep meeting in person. I do my sessions mostly on Zoom. And so I know this is a me problem, because I overextended myself. So I take full responsibility for that. But my question is, how do I correct or course correct now, so that I'm not sacrificing too much time and I can still dedicate to what I really need to get done.
Yeah, yeah. So any relationship's never going to be any better than the first encounter. So if your first encounter is you're giving your stuff away for free and then expecting them to pay full price for it, that's not going to happen. That's a broken model. I wouldn't really give anything away for free that is your main core business. You can give away all kinds of ancillary free stuff, but not what you want them to pay for. Ever. Don't ever give that away for free. Figure out something else to give them a value that shows them the value of what you're going to charge them for. Get them up to the point where they need to pay you. That's where you want to give away. So as far as like the way I dealt with that is, like, I had a lot of people that wanted me to consult with them, and I really didn't want to do it because my time is like everything to me. So this was probably almost 20 years ago. When I started into training and teaching people, I didn't mind doing the online courses. I didn't mind doing the weekly group calls. That was no problem. But I had people, they'd be on the group call, and then as soon as the call would end, they would call me and want to spend an hour talking about something we could have covered on the call. And I didn't want to do that. Like, my call, that's the time I've allotted for that coaching, was for that call. So since I didn't really want to do it, I priced it accordingly, $1,000 an hour. And I thought, there is no way in hell anyone is going to pay me $1,000 an hour for private coaching, right? I didn't think it was even possible. I thought I had just eliminated my problem and priced it out of the market. Well, boy, was I wrong. People lined up to give me $1,000 an hour, and this part blew my mind. I'm figuring if somebody's going to pay me $1,000 an hour, they're going to want me to work my ass off for them, right? I was totally wrong. They wanted to talk about the weather. I'm like, we would spend a half hour of an hour call for $1,000 talking about how the weather is in Huntington Beach. Oh, what have you been up to? Have you been fishing? Like, are you fucking kidding me? You're spending $1,000 for this conversation? Like, it literally blew my mind. Don't underestimate what people will pay for human connection with somebody that they admire, somebody that they trust, somebody that they look up to. Don't underestimate that. What you need to do is create that value. If you create that value, you'll have no problem selling your services or your time. None whatsoever.
So I don't actually have any issues selling my services or time or charging my regular rates. The problem is when I discounted too much, now it's like they're trying to take more, and I don't know how to end the cycle,
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say.
it's because basically whatever you do with someone, you're training them. You're training them for acceptable behavior. It's boundaries. You got to set boundaries and stick to them. You know, if you, let's say you discount 50%, unless you're doing that for a specific reason and it's only that one time, they're going to expect that every time. You're basically training them. Like I have a cell phone. A lot of people have my cell phone number. I don't answer it. If somebody just calls me out of the blue, they do not get that phone answered unless I know they're calling and it's somebody that I actually want to talk to. Because if I picked up the cell phone every time it rang, guess what my life would look like? I would be on the cell phone all day long, not getting paid. I would be training them that that's acceptable behavior. So it's really about the boundaries you set, how it's going to work. Like when somebody calls in, like the number I usually give out, number on my business cards, the number that the general populace would receive is my office phone number. It's not my cell phone number. So when they call, they get to talk to Barb. And there's only one person in the last probably 5 years that made it through that gateway, and he's sitting right here with me right now. So there's no way she's going to let somebody through to me because she knows what would happen. I wouldn't be happy about it, because that's training, and it's the same with vendors, customers, relationships, siblings, parents, friends. Like I've got good friends, really good friends, will still call me at 11 o'clock on Thursday, knowing damn good and well that I'm on a call. Do you think I answer it? Never. Because if I did, I'd be training them it was okay. So there's a lot of all that whole thing, Delilah, is just boundaries, plain and simple, setting them and sticking to them.
Got it. And so I can do that now through an email and kind of articulate my parameters moving forward.
Yeah,
Is
you
the
can
way to do it.
always change too. Just expect some loss.
Mhm.
When you change, there's going to be some people that won't change with you, and that is okay. You don't want them.
Yeah.
Those are relationships you want to cut. Now, you might not be monetarily to a point where you can afford to cut those yet. So that's something to take into mind as well.
Mm.
But eventually you will be, and then don't be afraid to cut them if you can.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Don't cut them if it's going to take food off your table. Keep the food coming in.
Gotcha.
But-
Yeah.
but strive toward being very picky about who you work with.
Okay. And I can just let them know that it's limited the amount of time that I can dedicate towards this project,
Yeah, it's limited to how much they want to pay.
Exactly. That sounds good. Thank you.
All right, cool. All right. Anybody else before we wrap up?
Yeah, hey, John, this is Matt.
Yeah,
How are you, sir?
good.
Good. Hey, I had one thing. Well, it's a part A and a part B. Part A is, are you familiar or anybody on the call with a technology that would allow us to take audio recordings and basically outline them, like for the main portions of the recording versus having to go through a 2 hour, call and then have to find the main discussion points?
Yes, you can use there's a program called Revoicer, and Revoicer will turn it into text. You can take the text and upload it into Perplexity, or if Perplexity won't take the amount of text, I think you can use Poe. And basically you just upload it and say, summarize this, give me the key points, and it'll do it in seconds.
Is it a fee, do you know, for that?
Revoicer is a paid program. It's pretty inexpensive. I think I pay like $17 a month for it.
Oh, so you have it, okay.
Yeah, it's not very expensive.
Do you use that on your calls?
I don't. I'm just way too lazy for that. I do the call and it's done and over. It's there for anybody that wants to go dig into it, but I don't.
John,
Okay.
there's a speech to text free app. I forget what it is, but I mean, just Google it and you can upload any recording. It'll give you the text and throw it into Chat GPT, and it'll tell you, it'll do the whole note taking breakdown for you. I do it all the time. It's free. All of it's free.
Cool. Yeah, it's amazing what you can find with this new little technology out there called Google. It's a new thing, right?
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, the reason I was asking is, as you know, I had to kind of step away from pushing the business here for a little while back now, but I was going to go through your, all the calls. There's, you brought up about not asking questions. I need to go through all the material first, so I was just kind of thinking through an efficient way to do that.
Yeah. Questions are great. You just got to make sure you're asking the right questions.
Right.
The right questions will always lead you to the right answers. It's like that whole thing with that program they call The Secret, right? They say, oh yeah, Lenny, you can manifest anything. Well, that's a crock of shit if I've ever heard of it. It's manifesting based on your thoughts. When you change your thoughts, it's not that things magically appear, you reticularly activate to them so you can see them. It's not magic, it's very scientific. But like, it changes your questions. Like if you ask the question, like, why can't I have a Lamborghini? Your mind is going to go to work thinking of 1,000 different things to keep you from ever having one. If you just change the question to what do I have to do to put one of those in my driveway, your mind will equally go to work as hard to figure out how to make it happen. And it will reticularly activate you to all the things that you need to make it happen. And they will become clear as day right before your very eyes. If you call that manifestation, okay, whatever, but that's how it works. And a lot of people focus on the wrong questions and they wonder why they don't get anywhere in life. It's because your mind is the most powerful computer that was ever dropped on this planet. And it will work really hard under your direction. If you want to fail, it will allow you to do it very easily. Just keep asking it the wrong questions. I can guarantee it. If you want something, start asking it the right questions and it will make it happen for you.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very powerful little thing between your ears. You just got to cut it loose and make it work. Somebody should make an operating manual for that. Operating manual for the human mind. You'd probably make an absolute fortune.
It's called NLP, John.
I know it is. That's awesome. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we will go ahead and wrap up for today.
Thanks, John.
Thank you guys. I apologize if I was harsh. I just feel sometimes it's necessary. So
Love you a lot, John. Thank you.
all right.
Talk,
We
John.
will talk to you all next week. Have a great one.
Take care. Thank you.
Yeah.
All ashore.